I was the outcast of my friend group, and it took me a year and 3 months to build up the confidence to leave them. Don't let that be you, bro. Don't let that be you. What's up? My name is Johnny Self Improvement, and today I'm gonna tell you why you're this weirdo and why nobody likes you. And I'm gonna tell you how to bring value to people and actually stop being that weirdo outcast and start making friends in a friend group who actually gives a fuck about you. For a year and 3 months, I was part of a friend group of people that just didn't give a fuck about me. I didn't fit in with them. But we'd be walking, it'd be lunch, we'd be walking out to go to get some Tim Hortons or some food, and I'd be walking at the back of the group, not talking to anybody, just walking with them, going with the flow, and just being there because I didn't want to be alone. It was better to hang out with them than to be alone. And I was the weirdo outcast of the group because I was a dickhead and an asshole, to be honest, man. I remember one time I got into like this debate with the girls of the group, and I'm like trying to break down the idea, the concept of polarity. And I'm like, okay, masculinity and femininity. The masculine is the rock and the feminine is the ocean. And these people looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, I'm talking about like self-improvement things, stuff that, you know, me and you that we know about. Trying to explain it to them and trying to break down the importance of meditation and why they gotta get off social media, why men need to become men again and be strong again. And that left me being that weirdo outcast, man, because why wouldn't it? Like, people don't want to hear about the masculinity crisis when they're trying to eat some fucking macaroni and cheese for lunch while they're snacking on some baby carrots and some ranch. You know, they don't want to be hearing about why your testosterone's low, you know? And that led to me getting made fun of a lot, man. I was just that weird guy. One time we're all standing there, you know, on this like staircase eating lunch, and I'm just like, yeah, man, I gotta get my testosterone up. And people like turned and looked at me, and they're like, what the fuck? Why would you say that just randomly? That's something you say when you're, you know, with your boys in the gym, you know, pumping iron. You don't just say that at lunch randomly in front of, you know, a group of chicks. Like, there's a time and a place, and I just didn't get that. But they still let me hang around with them, but I couldn't be part of like actual things like parties or events. Like, I remember they just made plans to have a party right in front of me and like didn't even acknowledge my presence, my existence there. They wouldn't even look at me. They were just talking about like, okay, so at this time we'll go and some of this person getting drinks and we'll invite these people. And like, I'm over here just, you know, smoking my own dick, not doing anything. And I'm just there like, fuck, bro. It gets better, man. It gets better, man. It gets better. It was around that time when I was like, yeah, bro, I gotta leave this group, man. I didn't really have the confidence to. And then one day, because for lunch, I was coming back from filming a YouTube video. It was my video called Just Show Up. I filmed that video, and you know, as I was walking back, I see the group sitting on a staircase eating lunch. And the one girl turns and sees me coming, and she's like, oh no. Like, she says like that real, you know, freaking, you know, bitch kind of, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I shouldn't say the word bitch, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? And they all turn, and they see me coming, and it just goes kind of silent, and they're just like, ah, shit, this fucking guy again. And I could see that, and I was just like, and I walked past them, and I ended up going inside and sitting in the caf and sitting with another buddy of mine who ended up being one of my best friends that I have now today and being part of the friend group that I'm part of now. And that was around the time when I was like, yeah, bro, fuck this. Fuck these people, man. Like, yeah, I was a dick sometimes. I was an asshole sometimes, but now they're treating me like this way. Like, I can't hang around here anymore because I'm trying to become better. I'm trying to work on myself, but they held me to that standard of what I was before. So I became that lone wolf. I spent the lunches alone, eating alone. I would spend them in the library working on YouTube videos, editing, you know, writing scripts, you know, like a dickhead, just fucking alone in there. It's not fun being the lone wolf. We see all these like Sigma male edits, you know, of Patrick Bateman and stuff, and we think like, yeah, man, we're on the grind, bro. We're doing this stuff. We're getting work done. And yeah, it's good to do the grind, but man, bro, social interaction is so like key to who we are as people, as like biologically. Like, we need to be part of a tribe and doing things for other people and being connected. And I just didn't have that. And eventually, some of my buddies started actually joining me, man. They started joining me for lunch when I was sitting there, you know, reading a book. You know, I talked about it before one time. They came in, I was reading The Rational Male, the book. And we're discussing the stuff. I'm, you know, talking about some topics in it. And I'm being respectful, you know. I was, you know, trying to be that new guy. You know, I'm not fucking starting debates or anything, but I'm just talking and I'm showing them this. Oh, you should read this page. This is good and stuff. And we're, you know, having a good time. I just started hanging out with them more and more. And now, like this is the friend group that I'm part of. Like, these are the people that I go hang out with all the time, and we're going out to places where, you know, we're partying and we're doing some degenerate stuff. I won't lie to you, man. But it's with people I actually care about, which makes it a lot better, man. Which Yeah, it's cope, man. You shouldn't be doing those stuff anyway, but whatever, man. I'll admit it to you, man. We're doing other things. We're going out. We're planning trips to go to amusement parks, and we're buying like dress pants at the mall. We're doing all sorts of things, man. It's better, man, because I'm being invited out, too, and I'm inviting other people to like hockey games and stuff, the Leafs game. It's nice to be actually part of a group and having people like excited to see you. You're like, hey, let's fucking go. You can make it out tonight. Yeah, that's sick, bro. It's such a crazy like contrast to go from people making plans right in front of you and not inviting you to everyone's like. The other day, a couple of these people in the group, they were talking about something they're gonna do later this month, and they're talking about it in front of me, and I didn't want to be that guy who's like, oh, am I invited? You know what I mean? So I didn't really say anything. But then they're like, oh, Johnny, you're coming, right? You're making it. You can make it, right? And I'm just like, hey, bro, let's fucking go, man. It's childish, man. But I'm keeping my cool. Like, that's how I'm feeling inside. I'm keeping my cool. I'm like, yeah, I can check my calendar, like, and it's not that we don't, have debates or I don't talk about self-improvement topics. I still do sometimes, when it's relevant. But it's a lot more cool now. Like, I remember once the most heated debate we got into was we started talking about Andrew Tate. Because my buddy did an English project or something like that on, I didn't know it at the time, but it was on the media's presentation of like men. And a part of it was toxic masculinity. You know how much I'm against that, bro. It's absolute bullshit. But most of his project wasn't on that. It was most of it how they're misportrayed for their opinions and whatnot. But I didn't know that. And I got into this discussion with him on Andrew Tate because he doesn't like him, right? He doesn't like him very much. And we started getting heated. Like, I started speaking like I'm like, I actually used to be a misogynist. I know how it feels to be a misogynist. I am not that, like I was going in, We ended up finding common ground and finding things we can agree on, even though we disagreed on a lot. But it was cool. And like after the debate, I said, hey, my bad, bro. I was getting heated. It's important stuff to me. Like, I'm sorry about that. And he was like, nah, bro, it's cool. You're passionate about it. It's important to you. That's cool, man. No worries. And I was so sick to see. Like, that's why I like that guy so much, bro. Like, we disagree on a lot of things, but we're still cool, man, because we're still here for each other. We're still positive people, enjoying life and actually enjoying what's around us and not being some depressed fucking people slouched over with the posture of, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, but actually enjoying life. And the takeaway from this story is that original friend group, they were not my friends. And I knew that. Like, I didn't have to realize, oh, these people, they don't like me when they make fun of me. They don't like me when they call me a misogynist. Like, I knew that. But what I had to realize was that I can't change other people's opinions and views on me once they're already made. Because first impressions are powerful as fuck, bro. And they had a first impression of me being this, dickhead, weirdo kind of guy, saying whatever, like, oh yeah, like, and once that view of me was made, I couldn't change that. And I wanted for people to see me better. I wanted to like improve, and people like, oh, hey Johnny, like, yeah, you've been making progress. I wanted people to see that, but they didn't, and that fucked with me. But I had to realize I just got to move on, and I have to do what Hamza says to not do, is become that lone wolf. But nah, bro, that's what I had to do. And it wasn't fun. Like, it wasn't good for my mental health to become that lone wolf. But in the long run, it was. Because I got away from those people that hated me so much and that I hated too. And when I did leave those old friends and went, lone wolf, that's when I could meet new people and make new friends and become a part of a new friend group, which I couldn't have done before when hanging out with them every single lunch and, still being part of that, that mindset of, damn, I'm this fucked up guy. So that was my story. But now let me tell you the advice, what I did to make myself more valuable and to give value to other people, to make new friends and to become part of friend groups and to stop being that outcast, that weirdo, going up in the social hierarchy. Now, the number one thing, right, this is like the prerequisite, is to become physically attractive and be presentable. Bro, from watching Hamza just how important physical attractiveness is. But it's not just about the physique and, your hair and, mewing and stuff, which is important. And you should be working on that if you're not already, especially the physique. Like, looking good in clothes, like, being able to look nice, decent in a t-shirt, like, that is huge, man. But it's also about the way you dress. You don't want to dress like some fucking gym bum or some wannabe gangster. You want people to want to be seen with you. You want to give status to people from being seen with you. Because especially with guys don't want to be seen with losers, Because that loses their chances with other girls who see that. When I'm rocking with a fucking... I have some dudes on my football team who... I love them, by the way. But they do some shit sometimes, and I'm just like, I can't take you anywhere, bro. Like they'll be doing some, they'll be doing some wild shit, saying some wild shit, you know, going full, you know, Middle Europe. I'll just say that I don't want to be seen with them when they're doing that shit, because girls seeing that and other guys seeing that will associate me with that, and then my value will go down. And yeah, like, yeah, I'm caring too much about what other people think. Yeah, it's fair enough, but that's how other people think too. So when you're trying to make friends with them, if they're gonna be fucking seen as this weirdo guy for hanging out with you, they're not gonna want to hang out with you, and they might do it just out of pity. But that's not what you wanted anyway. You wanted to be invited out. You want to make actual connections with people. So you need to think to yourself, how can I make other people want to be seen with me? And like I said, part of it's your physique and stuff. That's the biggest part. But it's also about being presentable. You don't want to be some fucking wearing these baggy clothes, these baggy sweatpants, baggy hoodie, you know, smoking some fucking darts. You don't want to be known as that guy, man. Or wearing some freaking Supreme hoodies and like Bape hoodies and doing all this stuff. Like yeah, okay, whatever. If you like it, you like it, man. That's on you. But if you like me and you like don't really give a fuck that much, then you can do what will make you look the best, the most presentable. And that is wearing nice fitted, plain clothing. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what to wear. So what I did was I bought a 5-pack of a white and black H&M slim fit t-shirts. These are the skinny guy cheat code. If you're a skinny guy like me trying to bulk up and, you know, look as jacked as possible, these are a fucking cheat code. They make the pecs pop out, the shoulder line pop out, man. They make you look so good. You need to fucking load up on these, man, because you can wear these with fucking anything. They look good, they make you look good. And they're not some freaking, you know, gay graphic t-shirt. Like, you can wear all your gym clothes when you go to the gym, but when you're going out, you want to look nice. You want to look presentable. You want to look like a distinguished young gentleman. You want to basically dress like something that your mom would be proud to take you out in. You know what I mean? So get yourself a bunch of like plain t-shirts like that fit nicely, and a bunch of jeans that are not too baggy but not like too skinny, like too like, you know, Bud Light kind of skinny jeans, but well fitting, and get like a few different colors of those. Now that's number one, but what comes next is actually giving value through conversation, through talking to people. How can you do that? Well, the freaking, you know, mainstream media, your parents, your freaking kindergarten teachers will tell you, oh, you know, just be yourself and that's good enough. And, you know, don't try to impress other people. Just be who you are and deep inside. And like, that sounds sweet. That sounds all nice. And, you know, ooh, like, oh, I'm about to go eat some watermelon. We know it's bullshit, man. Because you can't be yourself when who you are is shit. And that's like, that sounds fucking horrible, man. I'm not trying to diss you. It goes to me too, man, because who I was a shit personality. I wasn't a nice guy to talk to. All I could bring was awkward conversation and debates about gender roles. Like, I couldn't bring much to the table. What we want to do is bring as much value to a conversation, to talking to somebody. And I'm going to give you a few of those. One is giving smiles and laughs and just bringing positivity, a good time. And to do that, you need to have good mental health. And that's not what you want to hear, man, because that means you got to fucking do all this boring meditation. You got to do all this stuff. But it's the fucking truth, man. There's nothing worse than talking to somebody and they're all fucking, they're a Debbie Downer. They're talking like, oh, this girl left me a few months ago and I fucking hate my parents. My dad did this shit. What the fuck is wrong with people? Nobody wants to talk to somebody like that who's just complaining all the time. Complainers, whiners. And yeah, maybe they have a reason to complain. Maybe you have a reason. Maybe I have a reason to complain about stuff and to be upset. But people don't want to hang out with that. It's not about what we want. It's about the other person. That's the biggest thing that we need to understand about social interaction. It's not about us. It's about the other person. What can we do for the other person? Now that doesn't mean freaking, you know, simp for them, but what can we give to them that makes this a valuable conversation for us? If you live in a happy life and you're just happy, just, you know, sitting there, you know, sitting in the wind, majestic, then you're gonna be able to give other people that experience too, just by talking to them. You're gonna be able to, you know, smile more and look on the bright side of things and, you know, making jokes, making each other laugh, because that's just the mindset that you're in. And to get into that mindset, there are a few mental health practices that you can do, which I always talk about, which is gratitude journaling, writing 5 things that you're grateful for every single day, meditation, and deep journaling. Getting out all those things that are stressing you out, just writing them all out and getting it out of your system so you don't get it out during conversation. But what's big too is quitting social media. Because when you're seeing all this bullshit and you're getting fed with all these fucking stimulation, all these ideas, all these people, all what everyone else is doing, you're feeling way too much shit in your brain and you can't focus and be present in a conversation with somebody. How can you be focused on what the person is saying when you're fucking thinking about that post you saw earlier of that chick calling you fat phobic for going to the gym? Or that guy who's hanging out with those chicks and making you feel all jealous and bad, and all those emotions are going to go into that conversation. You're going to be carrying them with you. And now you don't want to quit social media because, oh, I gotta text girls. And another way you can give value in conversation is bringing your own opinions, beliefs, values, and bringing good stories. If you got in a conversation right now, if we were talking right now, if I could break through this fucking screen and talk to you right now and fucking reel you in, what story would you tell me? I could tell my story on how I only ate meat and butter for 40 days straight and how that led me to become closer to God and join my church. I could tell you the story of how I started making YouTube videos and why I wanted to make this be part of this movement and create this secret society here. I could tell you the story on how I went up to this girl for the first time getting this chick's number and I got terribly fucking rejected, but how that was the best day of my life. I have a lot of stories to tell, man. You see that on this channel. And I'm making more every single day. What story could you tell me? Like, seriously, ask yourself, what would you tell me? Oh, well, I was on Instagram and I saw this post and it made me really upset, and the feminists are going crazy on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're doing this, and oh, I saw this one cool porn video there, this girl got stuck in a freaking a carpet. What are you doing in your life that you can tell me about? Seriously, man, like, seriously ask yourself that. Because if you can't give me a decent answer, a decent story, you're not going to be able to give anybody else a decent answer, a decent story. You're going to have nothing to fucking talk about. And to be an interesting storyteller or person, you don't need crazy fucking stories. You just need to live life. Because once you start living life and experiencing different things, you're going to have things to talk about. Like, I talk about what I'm passionate about, which is self-improvement, YouTube, mental health, diet, carnivore diet, going up to girls and stuff, things that I actually care about, things that I'm trying to improve in myself, different skills. Bro, this was me like a few months ago, man. When I was hanging out with the old group, if people asked me, hey, Johnny, what are you doing this weekend? I'm working on YouTube. Like, I would have nothing else to say, man. I'll just be there with my fucking dick in my hand, cupping my balls. Like, what else would I say, man? Like, you ask me now, what am I doing this weekend? Bro, I'm filming this fucking YouTube video on how to stop being an outcast. I'm gonna send it to my new editor who's doing these sick edits, who's gonna take this fucking channel to the next level. I have this whole business plan. I just got this one part I gotta figure out, this one key, and then I can get, the freaking Moby Dicks out of the water. I could talk for hours about this stuff, and that's 10 times more interesting, even though it's the exact same topic. The first answer I said, I'm doing YouTube. The second answer was still about me doing YouTube, but it was 10 times more interesting because I was actually passionate about it. You could tell I gave a fuck about that. You could tell that this is serious shit. Even if you could give a fuck about, you're talking to somebody who could give a fuck about YouTube analytics and this shit, but just me talking with that passion and like breaking this down and like, look at this and look at it this way. Like, you will just get reeled in, even if you could give a fuck about the topic. What are you passionate about that you can talk about? I don't mean like passionate like, oh, I'm passionate about the ocean and I'm like all this fruity, vegans, or like Los Angeles type stuff. But what is in your life that you care about so much that you can share with other people? Because most people don't have shit, man. You ask people like what they're doing with their lives, they're not doing shit. Their life is a blur. Their life is a repeat every single day of going onto Instagram, Snapchat, porn, talking to the same people about the same bullshit topics, going nowhere. What are you doing? You're drinking, you're vaping, you're doing the weed, you're smoking grass in the bush. What are you doing, man? And one thing that I did to lower the value that I gave in a conversation was basically thinking that I was Andrew Tate. Like, I would just act like a dickhead and talk about things that I didn't even understand myself, just random things I would hear and I'll just repeat. And I was reminded of this the other day when I was hanging out with some of these people in this old friend group, like once again, right? And I was having a private conversation with my buddy about gay marriage. And then one of the chicks, right, of the old friend group, like jumps in and is like, oh, well, what do you think of gay marriage, Johnny? Fucking Johnny's self-improvement over here. And I say my opinions, talk about, my religion. And then I read out a Bible verse and she got pissed, bro. She got pissed, man. She was Catholic too. So I don't know if the Catholics, they like to, hush hush, right? But she got pissed and then she was saying shit and then I started getting pissed and I started saying my shit, man. And I should have walked away, man. I should have just been like, this is not worth it, man. This is not worth my own mental health of just arguing with some random chick about this, man. Like, I don't even care, man. But I didn't. I stayed there, started saying more shit. Being there in that area, I was just pissed off. I just felt off, man. For the rest of the day, I felt off. Like, I kept overthinking about it for no fucking reason. Like, I don't fucking care what they think. They look at guys like us and like, oh, talking about men's mental health, they're misogynist, you're this, you're that. Like, I don't care what they think, man. Kind of what pissed me off even more, like, I was just thinking about it all day. what I should have said. You're thinking about this bullshit, and then you're thinking about, like, you know, back then when I was trying to like impress these people and like get accepted into them, I was thinking like, oh, how can I make this better, you know, because I'd go for lunch, get in some argument about some bullshit topic I started, or think about it all day and then try to figure out a way to make it better tomorrow. And that's the thing, man. We can't let everyone in on self-improvement. We're going to be here doing our thing, setting our goals, going on our quests, fixing our mental health, doing all these things, reading Jordan Peterson, talking about Jeffries and Adonis and all this stuff, man. Like, if you've ever tried to get your buddy on self-improvement or your buddy to start watching Hamza, it never works, man. They have to find it themselves. And it's the same thing with this, man. When we're having these arguments, these debates with our friend group, our friends, it never works. They have to believe in it on their own. And of course, we can have discussions, like with my friend group now, we have discussions about different issues, but it's very respectful. And I don't have that image of being a dick for them. They don't see me as that. The old group did. So anytime I try to bring something up, and of course I also said it in a dickhead kind of way, that's just the image that they got, and that's just how they interpret it as. Like, I make jokes and stuff, but I'm not freaking like trying to have a debate every 10 seconds, you know? I'm more relaxed, and I'm more, also part of it's being more open to different perspectives. Like, my friends now, we mostly disagree. Like, we find common ground and stuff, but there's plenty of things that they don't agree with me on, and that's fine, man. And that's part of this too, being fine with other people not seeing self-improvement and these ideas and topics the way we do. Keep our shit, keep our goals for ourselves, and not trying to like spread it to everybody. Yeah, be proud of your shit, man, but don't be going up to fucking, like, don't be doing what I did, man, and be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, man, and this is you guys should be doing this too. You guys gotta hop on this with me. Like, take it easy on people, man. Now that we're physically attractive, we can keep people around us, and we can have our conversation and give them value. Now, how do we hang out with them? Where do we invite them to? So if you're watching Hamza, you know that you need to be the initiator. You need to invite people out. But where to? A few months ago, I went for a whole month. Every week I had something planned that I wanted to do, either by myself, but I wanted to invite other people to and get other people in on it. And what I did is I started looking up different places around me and seeing things that I wanted to do. Every week on my calendar on my phone, I had, okay, I'm doing bowling this week, and I'm doing laser tag, and then I'm doing this. And I found things that I would do by myself anyway that I would find fun. And an easy way to do that, if you're like, oh, well, I don't fucking know what I would want to do, is to go for a walk. That's like a practical step that you can do, like right now. You could pause this video and go for a fucking walk, man. And just see what's around you. See different things you can do. And it doesn't have to be places like actual businesses to go. If I go for a walk right now, I'll see like 10 places where I could do an outdoor workout. I'll see a park where, oh, we got a soccer field here. We can play soccer, play some sort of sport. We can play football. I got a forest here. We can set up the gym rings, do a workout. We can go for a hike. It's like the Jordan Peterson level of advice of clean your room and go for a walk. And then once you find some places that you would want to go to anyway, the way to invite people is this, right? This is what I did for my first thing that I did for that month, right? I wanted to go bowling. And what I did is I got one buddy on board. I texted my buddy Nick. I'm like, bro, let's do this. And once I got the confirmation that he was down for it, I started shooting texts to everybody I knew, all these guys that I knew. And I started saying, me and a bunch of other guys are going Sunday to bowling this time, or you win. And notice that I said me and a bunch of other guys are going. Like, it's like right now it's just me and my buddy Nick, man. If they show up and no one else shows up, it's just me, him, and Nick. Like, and I would have no explanation for it. When you say me and a bunch of other guys, that puts it in people's heads that there's something that they're missing out on. Like, you know how the fear of missing out, FOMO, of how much that affects you, seeing on people's Snapchat stories of them hanging out, drinking, fucking partying with girls and stuff, and how bad that makes you feel, man. That's what we're doing here. We're taking advantage of that. And the crazy thing is, I thought like maybe half the guys that I text would actually, you know, show up and be down and go. But every single guy that I texted was down and showed up. Let me know if that helps you, bro. Don't be afraid to give up the good for the great. Peace out.